My name is Alicia. I am 27 years old. I am married. My husband's name is David. He is 35 years old. We have been married for 2 years. We live in a small apartment. We worked. We ate together. We watched TV at night. Sometimes we argued, but I thought we were strong. 5 weeks ago, I gave birth to our baby girl. When I first saw my baby, I cried. She was perfect, but something was different. My baby had very light hair, almost blonde, and her eyes were pale blue. I have brown hair. David has brown hair too. My eyes are dark brown. David's eyes are also brown. So when the nurse gave us our baby, David looked confused. He stared at her. He did not smile. He did not say anything. I felt worried. I said, "David, she is beautiful, right?" David looked at me. His face was cold. He said, "Why does she look like that?" I said, "What do you mean?" David said, "She doesn't look like us. Her hair, her eyes, this is not normal." I froze. I said, "David, she is our baby. Babies can look different. Sometimes hair and eyes change later. It is normal." But David shook his head. He said, "No, this is strange. This is not right." I said, "Please, David, not now. I am tired. We can talk later." But he did not stop. He kept looking at the baby like she was not his. The next day we went home. David did not hold the baby much. He did not talk to me much. He stayed in another room. One night he came to me. He said, "I want a paternity test. I need to know if the baby is mine." I froze. I said, "David, what are you saying? Of course she is yours." But David shook his head. He said, "I am not sure. I need proof." Tears filled my eyes. I said, "I did not cheat, David. I love you. Why would you think this?" He said, "I don't know." I said, "Babies can be born with light hair. It can change later. This is normal. You can search online. You can ask a doctor." David said, "I don't care. I want the test. If you say no, then maybe we should end this marriage." My heart stopped. I did not want a fight. I said, "Fine, we will do the test." The next morning, David packed a bag. He said, "I am going to my parents' house." I said, "You are leaving me?" He said, "I need space. I need time to think." I wanted to scream, but I did not. I just stood there holding my baby. I said, "Okay." He left. The door closed. I sat on the couch and cried. I cried and cried until I had no tears left. Days passed. David did not come home. He did not call much, just short messages. "How is the baby? Did you schedule the test?" "No." "I miss you." "No." "How are you?" I felt alone. Sometimes I felt pain in my back, but I had no time to rest. My baby needed me. She cried all day. She needed milk. That evening, my phone buzzed. It was a message from David. It said, "Did you set the appointment for the test?" I typed, "Yes, it is tomorrow." The next morning, I went to the clinic. David was already there. I missed him, but he looked like a stranger. No hug, no smile. A nurse took us to a room. They took samples. After the test, we walked outside. David said, "It will take a few days." I said, "David, I did not cheat. She is your daughter." He said, "We will see." He went back to his parents. I went home with my baby. The waiting time felt very long. 3 days later, I got a message. It was from the clinic. "Your test results are ready. Please come in." My heart began to beat fast. At the clinic, David was already waiting just like before. We looked at each other. I felt sure, because I knew the truth. David sat next to me. A nurse came in and gave us a paper. David took it. His hands were shaking. He opened it. At first, his eyes moved quickly, reading, searching. Then suddenly his eyes became wide. He looked shocked. I leaned closer and looked at the paper. The probability of paternity is 99.99%. I was right. I looked at David. He still looked shocked. Then I laughed. I laughed because he was wrong. David looked at me angrily. He said, "Why are you laughing? This is not funny." I said, "I know. It was not funny when you left me. It was not funny when you said I cheated. You didn't trust me." His face became red. We began arguing. David said, "I am going back to my parents' house. I need to think again." I said, "You had many days to think." He did not answer. He just walked out just like before. I thought about my laugh. Maybe it hurt him, but I was hurt too. David did not come home. He did not call. He sent only one message: "I need more time." I did not reply. I was tired of those words. Before the baby, before all this, David and I used to laugh together. We used to cook together. We used to plan small trips. Now everything felt far away. I asked myself, can I trust him again? That evening, there was a knock on the door. I walked to the door and opened it. It was David. My heart jumped. He looked tired. His eyes were red, like he did not sleep well. He said, "Hi, can I come in?" I said, "Okay." He walked inside. He looked around the house. David looked at the baby. He said, "She looks bigger. Can I hold her?" I gave her to him. He held her carefully. David said, "She's beautiful." I said nothing. Then he looked at me and said, "I'm sorry. I was wrong. I didn't trust you. I hurt you. I didn't understand. I don't know what I thought." I said, "You thought I cheated." David looked down. He said, "Yes." I said, "I never did." He said, "I know. Now I know. I missed her first days. Your pain. I wasn't here." His eyes filled with tears. He said, "I want to fix this. I want to come back. I want to be a family again." I wanted to believe him, but I also remembered everything. I said, "I don't know." David looked surprised. He said, "What do you mean?" I said, I am still hurt. Trust is broken. It is not easy to fix." David said, "I will try. I will do anything." I shook my head. I said, "It's not about doing anything fast. It takes time. You left me when I needed you most." He said, "I know." I looked at my baby sleeping in his arms. I said, "You can stay here. You can be her father. You can be here. But we are not okay yet. We need time." He nodded. I said, "If you want this family, you need to stay even when it's hard, even when you feel confused." David said, "I will." That night, he stayed. He helped with the baby. He changed her. He held her when she cried. It felt different. Maybe it was a start. Days passed. We began to talk more. Sometimes I felt close to him. Sometimes I felt far. But I did not hide my feelings anymore. If I felt hurt, I said it. If I felt tired, I said it. He listened more now. He tried, and I saw it. One night, I looked at my baby sleeping between us. I felt calm. I learned something from all this. Trust is everything. Without trust, love becomes weak. Without trust, even a happy home can break. Never leave someone when they need you the most. I am stronger than I thought. I can stand alone. I can protect my child. And I will never accept disrespect again. If you liked this story, please like, comment, share, and subscribe.